Welcome everybody, I'm J. Ellis, and today I would like to talk about a major problem with ESO and what I have identified as some good ways to address it. The big problem has to do with the abundance of guild trader sales data that the server has to process. This system has bloated up and become less usable as more tradable items have been added through the years. As ESO continues through its performance roadmap with each update, I think this has been overlooked as a place to lessen server load. The guild trader system handles data on tons of transactions. Listings are displayed, listings are searched for, and the sales history is publicly preserved. The popularity of add-ons such as Master Merchant and Arcadius Trade Tools means players are often requesting data from the server about sales history. I think these are great resources for players, and I want to see them function well, and anything that helps the server seems like something worth looking at. I think a great way to address this problem is by looking at creative solutions to lessen the overall volume of sales transactions in some relatively painless ways. By looking through tens of thousands of sales transactions on PCNA, I've been able to identify some key areas for improvement. There's no silver bullet here, but everything adds up. One thing that stands out from the data is intricate items. These are used for leveling crafting skills. These make up more than 10% of trader volume. That is a huge chunk. They're popular and they're useful. I would recommend significantly reducing the drop rate on these while simultaneously increasing the inspiration bonus to match. For example, quadrupling the crafting inspiration while quartering the drop rate could by itself reduce trader volume by an incredible 7% while still helping crafters. While a big change, I think this is a good start. The next large impact is in stack sizes of basic mats. Most items that can stack in ESO stack to 200 items. Given the opportunity, most traders would choose to sell in larger stack sizes. Increasing this across the board to say 500 or 1000 would have a tremendous consolidation of trader transactions. Barring that, I would make an exception for the following 10 materials that by themselves make up a whopping 9% of transaction volume. These are the normal max level crafting mats: raw and refined Ancestor Silk, Rubedite Ore and Rubedite Ingots, Rubedo Leather and Rubedo Hide Scraps, rough and scented Ruby Ash, and Platinum Dust and Platinum Ounces. Similar to how poisons have a stack exception to 1000, this would be a high impact change that would consolidate about 6% of transaction data if sellers had this as an option. The next large volume market to address is glyphs. These do not currently stack at all and make up about 8% of trader volume as a result. I think it is technically possible to make stackable glyphs happen inasmuch as they already stack in the extraction window. I estimate about 4.5% of sales transactions could be consolidated just with this one change. This could also be extended to other currently unstackable items such as style pages, room boxes, and Alliance War repair kits, though glyphs are the only thing with such huge volume. My next recommendation is consolidation of motifs. This is very doable considering full motif style books already exist. Significantly reducing the drop rates of the purple pages while simultaneously increasing the drop rates of the full gold books would keep styles accessible while reducing trader volume. I estimate a 30% reduction in the drop rate would reduce total trader data by about 2%. More complicated, but in a similar vein, I would recommend consolidating the current food and drink recipes into full or partial books. This could similarly be done for homestead furnishing plans of various styles. For example, a Nord-style furnishing book for all green and blue plans. I estimate these would save an additional 2% of data. What I've outlined so far would reduce transaction data by roughly 1/5, and I think these are doable and don't fundamentally change the game much at all. Now, inasmuch as these changes are mostly about allowing people to consolidate their sales, the question then is, won't people just fill up the rest of their sales slots with more stuff? I would recommend a pretty big change to counter this problem, which is that people just always have more junk to sell. While I normally hate fees, I think a transaction listing fee of, say, 100 gold per listing would discourage people from putting up low-value items for sale, while also adding an economic reason to further consolidate sales. Right now, people often sell items one at a time instead of bunching them together, and a per-transaction listing fee would help move these towards fewer total listings. I would couple this with a sales minimum listing price of, say, 200 gold, so people don't actually lose gold by selling items. Together, these more substantial changes help address the major problem of negative externalities imposed by the processing of the data. As add-ons can be a slog on performance while processing, I estimate that the opportunity cost of the data processing time is many hundreds of gold per transaction for a 500-member guild in lost productivity. And it's also just not fun to have lag during these times, and it makes the game look worse. Even for console, there's a broader cost on the servers and general performance. I think an even higher minimum would be understandable if performance is in severe jeopardy. And there would be multiple ways to implement the minimum, whether as across-the-board changes or as toggles that guild leaders could set. The fee and the listing minimum together would reinforce the other changes and would themselves also reduce transaction data by an additional 10%, bringing the total to over 30%. So overall, just these few changes would help maintain the integrity of the current systems while reducing total data by roughly 1/3. I think this would be a big boon to server performance and lead to more positive player experiences, both on the buying side and on the selling side. Thank you for your consideration, and what do you think? What else would have positive impacts on performance? Put it in the comments or let me know. And that's it for now. Have fun in ESO and stay spicy.